I think we are live.
Yay!
Hello. Yay. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. I feel like I was just here. I have deja vu. I did a live stream last night this time, and here we are back again. But I have to say, my favorite night with Rebecca Michi here for our breast sleeping Q&A. So excited to be back doing this. And this has just turned out to be like the best Q&A ever, not just because we seem to be having such amazing fun each time, but the response to the announcements has been incredible. Every single time there are just a million questions. And I think, Rebecca, our idea about doing breast sleeping was a good one.
Totally, yes. Yeah. Moms have questions about breastfeeding and sleep. They probably have questions about poop as well, but I don't want to answer those.
I could do it. If you have a question about poop, I have no problem at all
Okay.
talking about poop.
So you're a poop expert as well.
All right, so everyone's jumping in. Hello, lovely ladies and men and dads, if you're there. And who Joe is. Joe's in the other room. So hi, Joe. Hi, everyone. Oh, my goodness. So happy to see you all again. And we are just excited to be here to do this breast sleeping Q&A one more time. We're going to be actually doing more of these. Rebecca and I spoke the last time we were together in DC. We were just in DC together and just talking about how well they're going and really how many questions are coming in that we just honestly can't even get to all of them because there's just so much and there's just so much to talk about. So we thought that it would be nice to start doing them every other week, twice a month, where we can be with you, answer questions, and we just feel like it would be a great thing. If you like that idea, I'd like to see some hearts going across the screen. If you want to see more of Rebecca and I doing breast sleeping together, hearts, hearts, hearts. Let's get them going across. And hello from our amazing partners and sponsors tonight. We have Love to Dream and Breast Support Pillow. And yay, let's get some hearts for them. Two of our favorite brands with just amazing, useful tools for new parents, both in the sleep area and the breastfeeding area. They're just perfect together, and we love them. So they're back again with us tonight. Thank you guys so much. And we have amazing prizes for you as always, which we will talk about in just a few minutes. We will show you our prizes. And I want to I always forget that there's always new people, and I know they're logging in and we always have new people following. So I just want to take a minute for both of us to be able to introduce ourselves and tell you who we are. If you've been here before, I know it's boring. You'll have to hear it one more time. Anyway, my name is Shari Criso. I am a registered nurse, a certified nurse midwife. I'm a board certified lactation consultant. I've been taking care of mamas and babies for over 25 years in just about every capacity. I've delivered over 600 babies and spent the last decade really focusing in on breastfeeding, on how do I help you make this journey just easier, simpler, and more enjoyable and doable, so doable. So that's been my focus, and so many of you have been with me for years and years. Some of you have only been with me for a very short time, but have gotten the benefit of being able to be together, watch the online classes, and everything else that goes with it. So that's me. I will turn it over to Rebecca and let Rebecca introduce herself.
Thank you. My name is Rebecca Michi. I am a Seattle-based children's sleep consultant and author. Work with families who have children under 6 years old, and I'm a gentle, no-cry sleep consultant, mother of 2, and wife to 1.
I'm glad it's in that order, Rebecca.
Yeah, that's right. It is that order. Yes. And Shari and I have been working together. Gosh, it's probably over a year now, isn't it?
It has. Time flies.
I know.
It's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's really been so great. Love having you on with me. Love doing this together. And I know everybody else does too. So thank you for it. Really, thank you. Thank you. So we have some really great prizes tonight, and we have a ton of questions to get to, which we will. You can also post some questions here in the chat. Just remember that when you post them in the chat, if they're really, really long, it's kind of hard for me to read them because I'm reading them on my mobile phone right here on my cell phone. So if you have any kind of short questions, go ahead and post them. I will try to get to them as well. And like I said, we'll be back in 2 weeks. We'll be doing this again. And I will have someone start saving our questions so we can repeat them and make sure they get answered. Two other really important announcements too is one, many of you know that my membership platform, My Baby Experts, is now free for everyone. Yay! Let's get hearts for that. Okay, that is actually thank you to all my amazing partners who really make that possible so that there really are no barriers for any moms. If you want to join, you can join. It will not cost you anything, and it will give you all of my online courses, all of my webinars, my entire video library, our private Facebook group, just everything that I have, literally everything I have, I offer to you as my gift. And so anybody who wants to join, that's available for you. And we also have Rebecca's Sleep Academy that I want to tell you all about, and I'm going to give her a chance to explain it. But right now, if you would like to get information or links to join any of that, plus see the prizes tonight, you just need to type in the chat. We're going to give this a chance again. We're going to try it again. Okay, you just need to type message. I couldn't remember what we did. Message or messages right now in the chat. Just type messages. Okay, Joe will give you an example. Messages, and then you will get a message from me that will give you information about how to join for free, how to go over to Rebecca's Sleep Academy, and also all the information about the prizes. There was so much that I wanted to offer you tonight. We decided to put it all into one nice little message. That's called message. There you go. All right, so just type messages and you should get that. And if you're not getting it, please tell me if it's not working. All right. Can we take a moment to talk about the prizes real quick?
Yeah.
Okay, let's get that. Let's do that right now. So the prizes tonight, we have Love to Dream. Okay, and have you guys seen Love to Dream? Do you all know what Love to Dream is? Love to Dream is the amazing sleep sacks. Okay, these are swaddle sleep sacks that swaddle with the arms up. So babies are in a much more natural position where they have their arms closer up by their face and they're able to self-soothe because of that position. This is the normal natural position for a baby to be in when they're sleeping. And it's just a way amazing, it's an amazing product. It's really so different than keeping their hands down by their sides. This is the original swaddle up here, and it actually has a zipper, so it's very, very easy for parents to use while they're, during the night or anytime. It doesn't create multiple layers of wrapping on the baby, which is another important thing when we talk about safe sleep and not overheating your baby. And it allows for enough space for the baby to be able to move their legs. It's nice and tight in the torso. It gives that nice snug feel that we want with swaddling, but also allows a lot of room for the baby's legs to move around and the hips to be splayed in the proper position for development. So this is just the amazing swaddle up first stage, okay? And then once you move beyond that, you move into the 50-50, which actually the arms will zip off. And so when the arms zip off, now you have a way to transition your baby gently and naturally out of a swaddle. You could do one side at a time, get them used to being out of the swaddle and then into a sleep sack. So this is the 50-50. Both are amazing products. I have some pictures here up on the screen because it's easier to, it's cuter to see it on a real baby. All right, there's the 50-50. And then here is, that's the swaddle up. And a 50-50 with a one-arm transition there. And this is really great too. As your baby starts to roll, this is the product that you want to move them into. And that'll help them to keep their face off the mattress and push up. Okay, so that's the swaddle up and the 50-50. And we'll talk about it a little bit more as we go through the show tonight. The next product, and I'm going to show you because these are the prizes. And you want to make sure that you are signing up for messages to get these prizes. Okay, so here's the This is the breast support pillow, and this is one of my favorite Genius products, breast support pillow. This is a pillow for your breast. You've heard of breastfeeding pillows that are pillows for the baby. This is a pillow for your breast that literally goes underneath the breast. And hopefully you can see the picture here in the screen where mom does have this under the breast to support the breast in an upward position to get better latch and the baby onto the breast properly. It's great if your breasts are sagging a little bit. It's great. And whose are not when they're nursing and they're heavy, just about everybody. It's great for multiples. It's great for large breasted women, and it's also great for any size. It comes from sizes C through J, I believe. And you need to make sure that you're ordering the proper size. They come in 4 sizes, okay? And this is all, there was an article out this week, Rebecca, talking about how they are finally passing some bills to get rid of the flame retardants in baby products. And we've been saying this forever, how important it is to make sure that we're using memory foam, all these products, breastfeeding pillows, every mattresses, that you're not using that toxin, those flame retardants, because oh my gosh, they cause problems. Yes, we know that. Finally, there's they're finally getting smart and they're saying it. Things like the Back Buddy behind me, all the products that I work with all have foams that don't have these harmful flame retardants. And so the breast support pillow is one of those products too. It's right there next to your baby's face. Obviously, it's super important that it's not off-gassing anything harmful into your baby. I think that a lot of moms are not paying attention to that, but they are more now. And this will bring a lot more awareness to the fact that they should look for products that don't have these harmful chemicals in them, especially when they're products that are so close to baby's face.
Definitely.
Right? So, those are our prizes for tonight. Again, type messages here in the comments, and I will send you a message with all of the different links for that, plus everything else. Okay, so now we're going to get on to some questions. How's everybody doing in the chat room tonight? Joe already asked you where all from, but I was talking too much to be able to see everything. I'll have to go back and look at it. But I'd like to know, let's ask a question right now. How old is your baby? And, where are you on the continuum? How many children do you have? Just tell us a little bit about yourself, how old your child is, and how many children you are, so we can get a little idea of what our audience is tonight, and we can then, direct some of these answers towards where you're all at, probably all over the place, but let's see what the majority is, okay? You're great. Awesome. You are great. You are great, Kylie. Okay, here we go. Rebecca, I'm asking you the first question so that you can do some talking here, okay? All right. Yep. This first question came in from Kelly, okay? Kelly said, is there an easy way to transition from co-sleeping my 15-month-old who screams bloody murder in his crib to his own space? Number 2 is due in September, and I'm getting worried it'll never happen.
Okay.
And this question answers quite a few of them tonight. They were just a lot of the same thing. So
Great. Okay, they're actually really, really great questions. Really like those. So I'll address them both sort of separately. So you have till September. That's just so far away. You have so long. So yes, you certainly have time. So yes, that's that question. Totally no problem with that. But the best way to do it. Now, a lot of the transition with a child, especially with this age, from bed sharing to more independent sleep, really involves the preparation. And so this means that getting your child ready, because if they have been sleeping in your bed for the past 15 months, suddenly trying to get them to sleep somewhere else, they're not happy. You have to remember, they are not the one who typed out this question. They have no issue with sleep whatsoever. So it's you who wants to make the change, not necessarily them. And so they are not necessarily going to be happy about this. You're trying to get them to sleep somewhere they maybe have never ever slept. You have a crib, so that's great, but you've probably been using it for putting laundry in for the last 15 months. So suddenly trying to get your child in there, they are freaking out because they have no idea what's going on. Mm-hmm. So we want the child to be really comfortable with that space. A 15-month-old gets comfortable with somewhere through play. So get all that laundry out and have the space, whether it's in your room or it's in a different room, in their room, in the nursery, and just keep it, the lights on, the curtains open. It's very obviously not a nap time or nighttime. As part of your playtime, have them in the crib playing, and you can start small and increase the time as they go along. Because if you've tried to be putting them into the crib to sleep, they may initially freak out because they've got a bit of a negative association with the crib. So let's get that really positive, and that's through play. So start with just short increments of time, and that could just be a couple of minutes. But you need to do this every single day. Increase the time. As they get more comfortable with this, you can then go from really interacting and playing with them to doing things in the room, to then getting to the point where you can leave the room and you can come back in. When they're able to spend about 20 minutes in the crib with you playing in the room, leaving the room and coming back in, then it's a good time for moving on. But you've got to get from sort of now of potentially freaking out whenever they get into the crib to that point. So lots and lots of play, using really, really fun toys, increasing that time. You want to look as well at your routines, making sure that your routines are really, really great so that they can get nice and relaxed before you're trying to get them down to sleep. You're going to get them down to sleep the exact same way that you have, and then place them down into the crib. So if you've been nursing to sleep or rocking to sleep, you want to do the exact same thing and then place them down in the crib. If they have been bed sharing with you and now you're suddenly trying to place them down in the crib, that can be really, really tricky because you're potentially going from laying down and nursing or being really hands-on, and now you're doing that and then you're having to do the transition. That's likely to wake them up. And what I suggest you do then, especially with a child this age, would be to wrap them up like in a sheet or a blanket as you're getting them to sleep. Transfer them, and then you can unwrap them and tuck the sheet down the side of the mattress so we don't have anything loose in there. But that will actually help with the transition because we've not got any arms or legs sort of falling. When the arms and legs fall, that's going to startle your child awake. So that may help with the transition. And then start small. When you decide that you're going to just go for this, start small. It can be that they're starting with the beginning part of the night, that they're just going to be in the crib, and then they're going to be in with you. It may be that you're going to start with naps. But get your plan together and get something reasonable together that you're going to be able to stick to. Because yes, night one, you would love to have your child sleeping the entire night in their crib. But if they've woken up 4 times before midnight, that may not actually be realistic. So maybe say just until midnight for the first 3 nights, and then you're going to get till 2 for the 3 nights after that. So setting up a realistic expectation, and that means then that something you're going to be able to follow through. So write it down. If it's written down, it's going to happen. It's sort of is much more, the brain will view it very differently if you write down your plan, stick it on the wall. Everybody knows what's happening, and then just go for it.
Yeah, I think everything you're saying there, and especially the consistency, like don't expect those changes to happen overnight.
No.
I think that's a really big message. It always comes up. It's such an important theme when you're talking about sleep training, from what I get from everything that you say. It's just, and knowing from my own children, but your answers are always about consistency and not, I think, not giving up, like trying it one night and be like, oh, that doesn't work. Okay, try something else. Like not to continue to just keep changing things.
Yeah, it takes 3 nights to break a habit. So you've got to get through at least through the first 3 nights. Now, they're not necessarily going to be easy, which is why you want to set up those realistic expectations for yourself and have a realistic plan, because it's not necessarily going to be easy. But then you can always build on it. Any step forward is always a step in the right direction. It doesn't matter how small it is or how big it is. It's still a step in the right direction. And though another family may be able to go straight to the crib, have no issues whatsoever, It doesn't mean that that's the only way. And because that doesn't happen to your child, that there's something wrong with the way you're doing it or something wrong with your child. Every human's completely unique. And so we need a plan that is just as unique to get the results that we want.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's kind of the opposite with breastfeeding. If it's not working, try something different.
Yes. Opposite. Yeah.
I don't mean give up. I mean, it's going to take time, but if it's not working, if you've got a painful latch, if you've got any kind of an issue like that, you need to try something different. So we don't just keep going with the same thing and thinking, oh, I just need to wait it out until it starts to feel better. It's a sign that something is not quite right. It's off. and it needs to be corrected. So two different directions. We're talking about two different topics, but I think it's a good distinction to make there.
Definitely.
Yeah, awesome. I want to, I'm going to answer a question on breastfeeding, and I just want to make sure that everybody knows about the Sleep Academy as well. And we are going to be giving away an extra prize tonight. So if anybody would like to join our live stream, and I don't mean in the chat, I mean like jump in on video tonight with us, ask us a question live, which we love. We did that last time, and we're going to be doing it every single time. Okay, so there's always going to be opportunities to jump in. If you'd like to jump in, I set it up so that you have an easy way to get the link tonight. Okay, if you type guest in the comment right now, you should get messaged with a link to jump right into the live stream. Okay, so type guest, and you'll get that link. And if that doesn't work, you can just come out of the live stream. It should be right there in the post for you, like the announcement post of this, okay? There should be a hyperlink. So if you want to join us live, meaning get on camera, ask us a question. Rebecca, what will they win?
They will win a month's membership to my Sleep Academy, which is where you will find step-by-step instructions for really gently sleep training your child, as well as dealing with a bazillion different other sleep issues. You get support, you'll get weekly Q&As, everything to get you started with some gentle sleep training.
Yep, awesome, awesome. And the link to get to Rebecca's Academy, if you need it, is going out through that messages link. So you'll have everything tonight. Both two words, one is guest, one is messages. If you do those two things, you should get everything. We tried to make it a little simpler. We started off with like 4 of them. I'm like, no, that's just way too many. And they usually don't work that well. So I was not taking my chance. Hopefully these are working. Can we get some hearts? Just let me know if it's working, if you're getting the messages. I see them popping up on my screen, but I'm not going to touch. Let's do a breastfeeding question. Okay, this one came in from Sherilyn, and actually I see her typing guest, so I'm wondering if she's going to jump in and ask her question live. Maybe I should wait. I see her here in the chat room. Sherilyn, if you're jumping in, I'm going to answer your question, and you're going to win, Rebecca's Sleep Academy. So I was about to call on your question. I'm going to give it a minute and go on to another one and see if she wants to jump in and ask it herself, okay? So let's move on to another question. But if you don't, I promise I'll come back to it because I don't want you to feel like I passed you over here. Okay, this one came from Linda. And Linda said, I have a 9-month-old that is becoming more and more active as the days go. This includes while breastfeeding. We sit in her room where there is no stimulation that I can see. Is it normal for her to be moving around so much when attached to my nipple? She never lets go, so I keep trying to shift at times so I don't lose my nipple. Yes, unfortunately, this is extremely common, and it is like exactly at 9 months is when we see this the most, okay? It is just when they want to eat, they want to nurse, but they also want to know everything that's going on, and they can't quite figure out how to do one without the other. So it kind of reminds me of the cartoon I posted, the cartoon announcement I posted for this live stream where, we're pulling. So one thing I could say that I've seen work well for this is one of the breastfeeding necklaces, something around your neck that is safe, that's not going to pull apart and fly all over the place, but something for them to keep their attention more like a toy while they're nursing, to keep their attention at the breast and not all over the room. Sounds like, Linda, you're doing the, being in a room where there's no stimulation. That's obviously another part of it. But if you're already doing that, you may need something to kind of distract her while you're nursing. And those necklaces are great. They have some really nice ones on the market. They're made specifically for that, for the baby to keep their attention in one direction, preferably in the direction of your nipple. So they're not taking it with you. But that would probably be my best advice. Also realize that the baby usually gets most of their milk pretty quickly into the feeding. By 9 months old, they're quite efficient in nursing. And so the feeding's literally the real feeding the feeding, like when they're getting the majority of the milk, could really just take about 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 7 minutes, and the whole thing's over. It's sometimes when we're lingering, and that's good too. I mean, it's that non-nutritive sucking that is good for the baby, is good for you. It helps to maintain your milk supply. Breastfeeding is so much more than just the milk. So they do like to suck, but I find that that's when the turning around starts to happen. They're not really focused on eating. When they're hungry and they're eating and the milk's flowing fast, they tend to stay more focused. So just watch on the time too. It may be that you just need to stop the feeding a little bit shorter when you know that it's not really a feeding anymore, and do something else. Do something else. But the necklaces are great. I saw some really great ones. I don't remember the name of the company I saw, but it was one that just had some really pretty beads, and the way they strung it, if it does pull, it's not going to come apart all over the floor, and it does have a release on it too, so that if they pull hard enough, it just opens and it's not choking you as well, which is always nice too. All right. So anybody jumping in as a guest? Are we going to get someone coming in? Sherilyn, I'm waiting for you, Sherilyn. She's now on the spot having to jump in. I didn't tell anybody they had to brush their hair. You don't need to brush your hair. I promise you. No judgment at all. You could just jump in. It does not matter. Mm-hmm. It does not matter. All right, Rebecca. Conchita. Hi, sweetheart. Hi, Conchita. She says, my son, now 9 months old, does not sleep through the night. He wakes up to feed 2 to 3 times at night. Is there anything I can do to help him sleep longer at night and give me more sleep? He only takes 2 naps during the day. He wakes up at 7. He naps for the first time at 9:30 till 11. He naps again at 2 and then goes to bed at 8:30, sometimes 9. Sometimes there's no afternoon nap. Okay. He's 9 months old.
Okay, so waking during the night at 9 months old is actually pretty normal. So wouldn't worry too much about that. You can try getting the wake ups down. It may or it may not work, and that's when things get a little bit tricky. A lot of times you may hear from people saying that, oh, they shouldn't be feeding through the night at insert random age. And there is actually nothing medical. There is nothing scientific to say when a child does not need to feed during the night. And though the majority of children are not feeding through the night at 9 months, there is still a huge amount of children that are feeding during the night at 9 months. Mm-hmm. So what I would do is, if you want to try and work on reducing nighttime feedings, and this is actually one of the in-depth bundles that we have in the Sleep Academy, is working on reducing nighttime feedings, is to tackle them individually. So looking at the timings that they're happening, the chances are they're going to be happening, if you've got 2 or 3 feeds, they're going to be happening around the same time each night. And so tackle them individually. Tackle the earlier feeds, anything before 4 a.m. First, rather than anything after 4 a.m. Humans don't get into a deep sleep after 4 a.m. We're getting ready to start the day. And so when a child is woken from a deep sleep, they're much drowsier, and it's much easier to get back to sleep, as it is for you. If you are trying to get them back to sleep and they've been in a light sleep, it's much harder to do. So anything before midnight. And what you can do, the way that I like to tackle reducing down night feeds, would be to know how long your child is feeding for one of those feeds, and reduce it down by maybe a minute. And do that for 3 or 4 nights, and then reduce that same feed down by another minute, and do the same for 3 or 4 nights. Keep reducing down, because chances are then they will increase during the day, or those other feeds, what it is that they miss. If you suddenly try and cut a feed out, because your child has been waking around the same time to feed, they're going to be hungry for that feed at that time. And if you suddenly try not to do it, then they're going to be really hangry. Nobody's going to be sleeping. You're going to be getting really uncomfortable. You're not going to be comfortably sleeping. So I like to really gradually reduce down the amount of minutes feeding. And you can then get down to maybe a minute or 2. Then you can just try maybe rocking the child rather than feeding them, and just see if they can go back to sleep that way. But tackle them individually and just go really, really slow. There is no quick fix for this. There really, really isn't. You want long-term results that are healthy for your child and are healthy for you, then you've got to go very, very slow. If you were bottle feeding, the way that I would do this would be to reduce down the ounces in a bottle. So you're basically doing the exact same thing, just gradually reducing down the amount that they're getting at one of those feeds.
Awesome. Awesome. Fantastic. I see that Sherilyn's trying to get in here into the chat and it's not working, the link. I'm just going to, yeah, I don't know why. You should just be able to go right to the link. I'm going to post it right here on the screen, okay, if you want to type that in. You have to just make it case sensitive. So I'll just leave that up for a minute. And that way, if anybody wants to join us, that is, and Joe put it into the post as well. So if you come out of the live stream for a moment and click, you should be able to go right into it. I don't know why it shouldn't make you download anything. So, all right, but that's our link for tonight. That's our link live for 4/18. Just make sure you type it all exactly like that with the capitals and the lower cases and all that. I'm going to move on to a breastfeeding question. I'm still waiting for Sherilyn because she's going to all this trouble to try to download this app. Yeah. I'm going to make sure that she gets her prize tonight, okay? All right, so this question is from Sarah. Okay, Sarah said, how do I increase my milk supply? I recently went back to work and my production has decreased significantly, even with pumping at work and nursing when I'm home. This is such a common problem because so many of us, especially here in the US, we just had a whole show about this last night with the March for Moms and talking about, short maternity leaves or non-existing maternity leaves. And it's so hard for so many of us to go back to work so shortly after the baby or even later and continue to breastfeed and pump. It's doable, but it can be difficult. You need to make sure that all things are in place for you to maintain your supply, to make sure that you're pumping frequently at work. It can be hard. You think you're doing enough, and yet if you were home nursing on demand, you're actually feeding more often, more frequently. The baby typically gets the milk out more effectively than a breast pump does, although your breast pump can be more effective. And I think that's a couple of the tips I want to give you is to make sure that you are using your pump efficiently, if that's the right word, efficiently, effectively. You know how to use the controls properly to stimulate multiple letdowns. If you don't know what I'm talking about, join our membership. And there are videos, and also here on my Facebook page, there are videos for my 3-stage pumping method to make sure that you are using your pump in a way that simulates what your baby will do at the breast and stimulate those letdowns of milk so that the milk, more milk comes out, it comes out faster and easier for you instead of just trying to pull the milk out by turning your suction up high. That's really not the way it works. And so I encourage you to make sure you know how to use your pump. If your pump doesn't have adjustable speed and suction dials on it, like the Even Flow pump, that's the one that I helped to design, and it does have those adjustable speed and suction controls because that's what allows you to be in control and create that those letdowns. Okay, so that's one thing. If it doesn't have that, invest in a different pump. I don't know what else to say other than you need a pump that has those independent speed and suction controls. Make sure that your parts are being changed frequently. If you're back to work full time, it may be even more frequently than every 2 months. And I'm talking about the little membranes and the valves that go inside underneath the flange into the bottle. Those get worn out. You can lose suction on your pump, and that can affect how much you're pumping. And try to if you can get your pumping sessions more efficient, then you can do them more frequently for less time. And I always encourage if you had a choice between spending more time pumping and less often, or less time pumping and more often, I would go with the latter. That means you may only have 10 minutes, but you're going to do it every 2 hours. That is going to help to maintain your supply, even though the yield at that feeding or that pumping will be less. It will keep on draining the breast, keep the breast empty, and help your body to maintain its milk supply. Waiting for your breast to be really full, waiting 4 hours and saying, okay, now I feel nice and full, go do a big pumping session. It seems like it's great because you'll get a lot out because you've waited so long, But that time that you've waited is putting pressure on all the little nerve endings inside your breast, and that pressure gives a signal to your brain to make less milk over days. Okay, so each day you're making less. That's not the signal that you want to be giving. You want to be giving the signal to make more, which happens when the breast is empty all the time. Okay, we talk about this because it's an opposite understanding of how the body makes milk and the best way to maintain your supply. So I really want to keep, if you can take one thing away, is try to keep the breast empty because you're feeding or pumping frequently, all right? Even if you get less out. And then, sometimes moms who are back to work need to do what we call reverse cycling. And that's what, it's the opposite of what you're going to ask Rebecca about, is how do I sleep through the night because I'm working and I'm tired. But quite often it's the best time to just have those nighttime feedings, try to stay asleep, try to keep the baby asleep as much as possible, but get that extra milk out during the night so that you're feeding as much as you can during the night, to make so that the baby's not needing as much while you're gone, and that way it will help to not have you feel like you're making too little. I would say the last thing, I keep thinking of more things. Here's what I want to say too. If you are back to work and you need advice about pumping, go join my membership. It's free. Okay, I'm going to say it again. It's free. It's no cost. Okay, and there's an entire class in there called Breast Pumps and Briefcases. That's a 90-minute course, okay? It's 10 chapters or 11 chapters, and it has everything that you need to be able to go back to work, from how much milk do you need, keeping your supply, just about everything that you need. So the whole course is there. It's waiting for you. It's my gift to you. Go watch it. And it will, if you're back to work, it's an essential thing to watch. You need to watch that class, okay? Lastly, and in that class, I talk about it, and I'm going to be doing a whole webinar coming up on this topic as well, which is bottle feeding and the proper way to feed a baby a bottle, and paced feeding. And sometimes we think we're not making enough. You're talking about your milk supply. That could be just a perceived issue where, because they're feeding the baby too much while you're gone, it's not keeping up with what you produce, but it's not you. It's not you that's not making enough. It's that they're feeding too fast. They're feeding too much, more than a breastfed baby should be eating. Okay, so that being said, I want you to go watch it. Anybody in the chat room, I see my people here. Okay, any of you guys who are in the membership, anybody's watched Breast Pumps and Briefcases can, give some advice here to say, go watch it. Did it help you? How did it help you? I want you guys to get this information. Joe's going to post the link here too, just in case that message is not working. I'm not sure. It's mybabyexperts.com. Okay, we'll take you right to my website, and there'll be links.
Another thing as well about during the night, and again, you're saying yes you definitely need to do that. And you would not necessarily expect a sleep consultant to say and do the same. But I think, yes, definitely do that, because remember, feeding is not just feeding. Breastfeeding is not just about the food. It's also, and what's really, really important for helping a child sleep is filling up their touch tank. So that is having that one-on-one and having that time touching them skin to skin and just being with them. So filling them up with that. And that could come in early in the evening feedings, that could come at nighttime feedings. It means that actually that they are going to sleep better, because they will wake just to hang out with you, to get that one-on-one time, to get that skin time with you. They'll do that. So actually looking at when feedings are happening during the night can actually then mean you are getting longer stretches of sleep, because you're filling up the touch tank, and then they can sleep easier.
Oh, totally. Absolutely. And they want you. They miss you. They need that time, and I think that's why so often you'll see, and you can agree or not agree. I think this is my experience is that when you do go back to work, all of a sudden they stop sleeping through the night. Like they were sleeping, and now they start waking more. They're more clingy. They want to eat all night long. And it's not because you're not making enough. It's not because of that. It's because of everything that Rebecca just described, which is they miss you. And that makes sense, and I'm sure you miss them too. So Joe has a message here for me.
Sure.
Okay, Sherilyn's coming in as Keith. I do not see her. I do not see her here. Aw, I don't know why this is not working. I wish it was. She might be. Tell her not to stress out. Okay, listen. I'm going to do her answer right now, and she still wins Rebecca's Sleep Academy. A for effort, okay? A for effort. I do not want you, I want you to listen to this chat. I don't want it to be so distracting for you, okay? Sherilyn, please don't stress, okay? And if you get in, then we can just say hi, all right? But I'm going to go ahead and answer your question right now. Is it my turn? Yeah, it's my turn. I feel like I've been talking.
No, I just sort of piggybacked on your
Okay, so it's your turn. So what you're saying is it's your turn.
Basically, yes.
And then I'm being a question hog here.
Yeah, basically you are.
I can't help myself. I can't remember what I did a minute ago. And that's the other scary part of this all.
It's terrifying, isn't it?
Well, that's what pregnancy and mommyhood does to you. And ladies, take it from two women here who have teenagers. It never comes back. I hate to tell you. I lost it with my first pregnancy, and
that's it. Brain lost, never to be found again.
Yeah, you actually do lose brain cells.
Yeah, that's pretty.
I think it's necessary to go through motherhood. What'd you say?
I said that's who said we do actually lose brain cells, and I said, well, that's pretty evident. But I didn't mean for you, obviously.
I know what you meant. Yes, you did. This is your brain on motherhood. Oh, God. It says waiting to go live. It's okay. I'm on 2 phones. Sherilyn, don't worry. I'm about to answer your question as soon as I give Rebecca her chance, okay? So just hang on. Sherilyn is already the winner of the Sleep Academy. Woohoo! Hearts for Sherilyn and effort. Next time, we're going to figure out a better way to do this, right? Where we let people to jump in. It's so hard because you can't post it till after the stream, and I don't know. And then technology is just temperamental. Let's just be happy we both got on tonight. Because that happens too.
And that we remembered to get on tonight.
That can happen too. And we remembered to get on. Exactly. We remembered. Okay. We need a sleeping question here. I just had one pulled up. Where is it? Okay, Maggie. I just had a second baby. He's going to be 7 weeks on Thursday. I had my toddler nearly 2 years ago, sleeping in his own bed in his own room. The first week or so with the baby in our room, the toddler stayed in his. However, now he refuses to sleep in his own bed or his own room. He will do his daytime nap in there just fine, but once night rolls around, he screams bloody murder till we put him. This is a different one who screams bloody murder, huh? I see a theme here. Until we put him in our bed, I've had to move downstairs to the couch so the baby doesn't wake him every 2 to 3 hours. How do I get him back in his room and sleeping through the night again? Help.
Yeah, that's a really, really common thing to happen. A child who regresses when a sibling arrives. You have to remember that the toddler, life has completely been turned upside down. They were the one child who basically was kind of in charge of almost everything, and now they're not. And so, yes, you can notice that they regress with potty training and all sorts of things. It's not necessarily sleep that you'll see that they will regress. Chances are that before you had to sort of move elsewhere, the baby was in your room, and now your 2-year-old is kind of thinking, well, why this thing has just been born, and now it gets to sleep in my mom and dad's room. It gets to sleep there. And that's really not fair. I was kind of in charge here, and if anybody was going to be doing that, then it should be me. And so that and you can understand why they would potentially be doing this. So there's a couple of things that you can do. One of them would be to, rather than saying no to a 2-year-old, because I don't know anybody who would that brave to actually say no to a 2-year-old at nighttime. Rather than say that, give him options. Toddlers love options and they love choices. So you can say, okay, you can stay in your bed, or you can come and sleep on the bed that I've made up on my floor. So make up a bed on the floor, but don't make it comfortable. You literally just need to have a blanket. If you have hardwood floors, even better. It's just a blanket, but you're not saying, no, you can't be coming in here, or no, you can't come into my bed. You can stay in your bed here where it's lovely and comfortable, or you can come and sleep in the bed that I've made you on the floor in my room. Giving those two options there. Hopefully it won't take too many nights of one, sleeping on a hardwood floor. I cannot imagine is very comfortable. And then the baby potentially is going to be waking him up as well. And so hopefully it won't take too many nights for him to then realize that actually my bed was much more comfortable and I'm not being woken up every couple of hours. So I would move back into your room and then have these options for him. Another thing you could try would be having your partner to sleep in his room with him. Having your partner not getting in his bed, especially if he's in like a crib or a toddler bed, but even if he's in like a twin or even a foot, whatever, even if he's in a king size, do not get into that bed with him because it's really hard to get out. But if you could have your partner then maybe making up a bed on the floor that's already there, and then during the night your partner going and sleeping there so that you can then stay in your room with the baby and just concentrate on the baby, and then your partner's more looking out for your 2-year-old.
Yeah.
I think either of those two options may really, really work. But don't think that there's anything wrong. There isn't. This is really, really normal. But what I would do is get you off the couch and get you back into your bedroom, because you need to be getting some pretty good sleep, and you're not going to be sleeping well on the couch at all.
Yeah, no, good advice. Definitely good advice. It's so hard when you have another one and, there's just that regression that happens and they get jealous and,
Yeah.
it's all there. I want to remind everyone before the night is over, which we still have quite a few more questions to answer, and we do have more that we're going to answer. I want to make sure that we remind you again of what the prizes are for tonight. And look at this, now that you can actually bring 4 screens in.
Wow.
Isn't that cool?
Mm.
Okay, so our prizes tonight, we have the Love to Dream, 2 winners to choose whether you want the Swaddle Up or the 50/50, and the breast support pillow. And I want to make sure that you guys tell me what you want. So in the chat, first of all, you're going to like and love this post after we're done. Make sure you like and love it. And make sure you comment here and tell me why you love it, why you need it, who needs it, who wants it, whether it's the Love to Dream or the breast support pillow. And you can tell me for both, okay? You can want both. That's okay to want all of it. And do that right here in the chat. Let me know what you love about both of these products. And someone's going to win. We'll actually have 2 winners for the Love to Dream, 1 for the breast support pillow. And Sherilyn already won a Rebecca's Sleep Academy. Somebody just jumped into the chat here. Oh, I think it's Sherilyn. I was just about to ask her questions so she gets to do it herself. Yay. Okay, hold on. Persistence. I love it. I love it. Here you go. I know it's her because it says Keith. I'm so glad you told me that. Hi, Sherilyn.
Hi.
How are you?
I am good. How are you?
Good. I'm so happy you were able. Boy, are you persistent. Awesome. Awesome. First of all, you're going to like and love this post after we're done. Oh, you know what? You got to turn up your volume on your computer because I can hear myself.
Oh, yeah. There we go.
Okay. No worries. Literally, the words were about to come out of my mouth like this second to ask your question for you, and then you popped in. So that was perfect timing.
Awesome.
Yay. Okay, so go ahead and ask me your question.
Okay, so my son is 2.5 months old. He's currently eating. And he has a really bad lip tie, and we are going to get it checked out, but I had just been pushing through the pain thinking it was normal, whatever. And then I ended up getting thrush, and he got thrush, and I also have mastitis now. Mm-hmm. And feedings had been going okay, but he's been eating for like 4 to 6 minutes a majority of the feedings throughout the day. Is that normal for that, or is it just because he's getting older? Now, he's not fussy or anything, and his diapers are awesome. I have to clean them all the time, wash his diapers every day. So
good. So how do you know who diagnosed the lip tie for you, Sherilyn?
Well, they found it at the hospital when he was first born. And then we checked out with the pediatrician, and she said it was there. And she said that we could take care of it, or we can see how things go. Like when they get older, they fall and bust it, and it's fine from that point on. And I'm like, ooh, I don't know how I feel about that, but I guess we can go and see how everything goes. And it just hasn't been going well. And she checks it every time we go, but it's just to the point where it needs to be taken care of now.
Yeah, and the thing about a lip tie is that it is very, very uncommon for there to be a lip tie without a tongue tie. So just because, it's almost unheard of that there's no tongue tie as well. And so it's just that there could be a posterior tie that the doctor is unable to diagnose because they're not really trained to do that. And so it's not this like little thing usually where it's like, and the idea that he'll bust it falling down someday, we don't want to wait for that and hope for that. Okay, that's just not the way to handle it. I think it's really important that you have a proper consultation with someone who deals with this frequently. I would recommend and encourage you to have it looked at and also released. Okay, not just the lip tie, but make sure they really look for that tongue tie as well. I'm not saying that that's the cause of your breastfeeding problems, but you're sitting here with mastitis. You're sitting here with more frequent feedings now, where it could be that the baby's just struggling to keep the latch, and because you in the beginning had probably more milk, from engorgement, just from that time of having a lot of milk. Now that's kind of leveling off, and very often what we'll see with a tongue or a lip tie or any kind of tethered oral tissue is that the baby does fine in the beginning, and then we start to see issues, and then we start to see a decline in milk supply, and all the things start to go downhill. And so I just really encourage you not to wait just because they're waiting.
We have his referral in, and he's going to a pediatric dentist to have it looked at. Because the lactation consultant at the hospital is the one who found his lip tie. So
it doesn't always cause pain. People think that, I'm not in pain and the baby's getting enough milk, but that could have a lot to do with your milk supply. I'm going to guess that you have more of an oversupply where you have a lot of milk.
I do at night. Towards the end of the day, I don't really, but late at night and early in the morning, I have a big supply. Yeah. But I also drink a lot of water though too.
The water's not making you have an oversupply. It's just keeping you really hydrated to give you what you need. So it's not causing anything, the water. That's not really how it works. Staying hydrated maintains your supply, but it's not going to cause oversupply. And milk supply will always decrease towards the end of the day. Those late afternoon, early evening hours is when your supply is lowest. And I'm sure that if you're saying, I'm really full during the night and in the morning, then probably your milk supply is just right. And probably even more than you think. You probably have more than you think you do. And I'm a little concerned that could be what's causing the mastitis right now, is that the baby, because of such a good supply, when moms have a really good supply, even with a lip and tongue tie, and they're not able to keep that latch really well or keep that seal, they're just kind of opening their mouth and it's pouring in.
Yeah.
That's how milk works. That's how breastfeeding works, is the hormone gets stimulated, the milk releases, and it just pours out. And so they kind of open their mouth, they're not sucking great, and they're still getting quite a bit, which is, probably why his pee and his poop is good.
Yeah.
Okay, but it can also make it so that he's not draining the breast properly, which can leave you with mastitis, which is what you're kind of seeing now.
Yeah. Yeah, and his latch has always been not extremely painful, but enough to know that this isn't right. So
yeah, if you're having any kind of discomfort right now at 2.5 months, you really need to get that fixed. it can, it's everybody thinks that tongue, lip ties are all about just breastfeeding. And if breastfeeding is going okay, where it's not that uncomfortable and my milk supply is okay, the baby's, gaining weight and peeing and pooping, then there's nothing we need to do about it. But lip and tongue ties are an issue beyond breastfeeding as well. And it transfers into how they eat, how they speak, how they, breathing and everything else later in life. And so it's something that is common but does need to be handled. And if you join my membership, I do have a really awesome 2-hour live stream that was done back in November. Did you?
I am a member on there.
Okay, good.
I did the cloth diapers. You posted his picture on your wall.
Oh, okay, right. Okay, good. Sometimes I don't see your faces. It's hard for me.
It's okay.
It's hard to remember sometimes, but yeah, there should be a live stream in there from November that has that full live stream for tethered oral tissues, and it's really informative with 4 really great experts that I interviewed about this. And I learned so much. Like I just learned so much from doing that event and working with them. So I think it'll help. It'll really help you too as you go for your consultation with the pediatric dentist to get an idea of some of the questions that you may want to ask and some of the things that you want to be looking at when you're evaluating even this practitioner to take care of your baby.
Yeah.
Okay. And one more thing I wanted to say, with the yeast and the mastitis, very often yeast can cause mastitis. So the infection that you're having is actually a fungal infection and not a bacterial infection. You're so cute.
Okay.
And so that's important because if it is caused by the yeast and not by a bacteria, being on antibiotics will make it worse.
Okay. Yeah, because they put me on antibiotics and she gave me something else for a yeast infection too.
Yeah.
So just in case. So
yeah, I know the antibiotics are probably going to make the yeast worse. So really start addressing these. Actually, did you watch the webinar on plug ducts and mastitis and yeast?
Do what?
Did you watch my webinar on plug ducts, mastitis, and yeast?
Did I watch it? Sorry, you're cutting it out.
Yeah. Did you watch it?
No, I haven't watched it yet, no.
Okay. Take a look at that too, because that's a really good webinar. It's all dedicated to mastitis and yeast, and I think it will be helpful for you to kind of get an idea of some of the measures that you need to take in addition to the antibiotics and whatever medication they gave you for the yeast to try to get rid of yeast. Yeast can be really difficult to get rid of.
Okay. Yeah, that would be awesome because I think the thrush is more painful and annoying than the mastitis is.
Absolutely, and harder to treat. So go watch that program and then, post into the group and let us know if you have any questions or anything like that. And if I can help direct you to any of the videos or if anything's not working, make sure you post in the group. Just let me know, okay?
Okay. All right, thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome, sweetheart. Thanks for hanging in there. We're going to send you we'll get in touch with you to be able to get you Rebecca's Sleep Academy.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much. Say bye.
Right. Have a good night. Bye, baby.
You too. Bye.
Bye. How sweet he is. Gosh, he's so sweet.
I'm so glad she made it in. That was great. Aw, she's got a lot going on there. And you know what? She's not alone. So many moms just are struggling with so many different things. And, I think that's what I love so much about doing these Q&As with you, Rebecca, and then for us to be working together, both with your academy, with my membership. It's just a way for moms to really get the information that they need.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And find us, and then have the whole community, all these amazing people in the community who can support us through, sometimes that's what we need, just someone to
totally. Sometimes there's not there isn't a fix, but just getting some sympathy and just somebody who can kind of nod and say, yeah, this really sucks.
Yeah.
It just means the world, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Because we always have this, we have everything looks so perfect online when it comes to parenting, and I'm sure there are people you follow on Instagram And you don't know that it's taken them 4 hours to perfect that picture that they put up, and everything just looks perfect. And you're sat there with your boobs leaking, your bits are hurting, and you're crying, and the baby's crying. You've not showered in God knows how long. You've not done laundry in God knows how long, and
Yeah.
you've lived on chips for the last 4 days. And
Yeah.
you just think that you don't have it together when
Yeah.
everybody else seems to. And I can guarantee everybody else, the majority of people are in the exact same spot that you are, but nobody necessarily wants to show that. No one wants to show that they've not shaved their legs since November. That's me. That's me. I could show you, but you probably really don't want to see that.
Yeah, you know what? I hear you, and I think, wow, we're all like that,
Yeah,
and that's why I think it's so important for us to just be real about it, because I think it's one of the biggest things that causes so much postpartum depression
yeah,
too, is just feeling like you're not keeping up, like you're not doing so, like everybody else is doing better than you, or comparing yourself to others. And they really encourage all the moms out there, if your baby's not sleeping, that's normal.
yeah,
If you're struggling with breastfeeding, that's normal too. It doesn't mean that you should stay that way, but it does mean that it's normal. It doesn't mean you need to give up or there's something wrong. It's just about seeking help, getting the support, posting your question like you did tonight, watching the videos, and please take advantage of what we've offered you here. Take advantage of the memberships that we're offering you, whether it's Rebecca's Academy or going into the library and just getting lost in a few of those videos. So many of the questions that I saw come up tonight are answered in my classes, are answered in my Q&As, are answered in my live streams, and you have access to all that. So, and then you have access to go ask questions in the group too, where so many of the moms here have taken these classes. They've gone through the same issues that you have and have come out the other end and have really great advice. Half the time I don't even need to answer the questions because everybody's answering perfectly. So just encourage you all to go. It's already after 10, Rebecca.
wow.
Went fast, didn't it?
Yeah,
You
wow.
guys have a good night. Did you enjoy this? Was this helpful for you? Let's get some hearts. Let's get some hearts going for big thanks and love to Rebecca for being here, to Love to Dream, and to Breast Support Pillow, who are in the chat tonight that I saw over and over again here. And their wonderful prizes for all of you and their support that makes these all possible so that we get to do this. And we'll be back in 2 weeks.
We
We'll be
will.
back in 2 weeks, okay? So keep posting your questions. What I'm going to do is maybe I'll just get I'm going to put together some kind of a Google Doc so that, like a little form that you guys can fill out and put your questions into so that it's going into it's going into queue, so to speak, and we will get to your question and answer it for you, okay? And if you just can't wait, remember, just go join the groups. All right, so I'm going to say goodnight. I'm going to say goodnight to all of you. I love you all. Thank you, Rebecca, for being back again.
Welcome. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. And we will see you again in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And see you guys. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.